All right, so great game last night with Virginia. That was so exciting, and Texas Tech. Excited for both sides. Just the excitement of and the optimism of the possibility of winning a national championship for somebody who's grown up in sports. I don't care what the sport is. It's just like it's an incredible, exhilarating feeling. And then also what you need to do in order to get there. If you have that kind of like shift into the other areas of your life, which it obviously already has, otherwise you wouldn't be able to be there. You couldn't be a student athlete at Virginia and just be one-sided. It's really not possible. So you've already had to be exceptional in other areas of your life, and that ends up impacting that area of your life. So what I wanted to do is tell you how I surround myself, and so does Melissa, with people, thoughts, things, relationships, conversations that lead us into the direction of aspiring to perform at a higher level. Depending on whatever your goal is, I mean, it's going to show up in different areas of your life. But one of the, Tim Ferriss is a great author. He's a great communicator. He's a great motivator. He's a great researcher, or you might want to say journalist, researcher, investigator. And so when he reports on something, he does a deep dive, like Ryan Levesque likes to talk about, and he really gathers the true information and the information that differentiates somebody or a concept or an idea that's working from one that's working at the highest level. And so I'm just gonna kind of go through his books and talk about them for a moment, how it relates to us making progress every day. So for the first one, the 4-Hour Workweek was his first book. I've got that at home, I don't have it here. But in that book, he talks about, hey, get clear on what's essential in your life, like the book Essentialism that a friend had me referred me to the other day. And so get clear on what's essential in your life and focus on doing that. Now, what if you only had so much time every day to do that? How could you function? And that's the concept of the 4-Hour Workweek. Now, who can you delegate different things to that aren't 100% essential for you to do? And that's really helpful. And thinking about that on a daily basis is really helpful from getting David Allen kind of getting things done standpoint. Because if you need to get things done, not that they're not important, but you need to get them done. In order to function, that has to happen. The 4-Hour Workweek is really helpful. The 4-Hour Body, kind of a similar concept, but then kind of transfers over into the things that we're doing for our body. What do I need to do in order to perform at my highest level and grow? Consistently through consistency. And then what's the minimal effective dosage, the MED that we like to say, the minimum effective dosage to have in my life so that I can optimize my life but not detract from the amount of time and energy investment that I need to have and then get a bigger return on investment. The next book, one of the next books, Tools of Titans, surround yourself with Titans and understand through usually conversation and asking or their example from what they're showing, like what they've done, the tools that they've used and how they've used them and when they've used them and how much. So getting clear on looking at some of these things as it relates to other people who've been successful in the areas you're looking to be successful. Like for instance, I tell people all the time, hey listen, if you want to be a student athlete in college, I'm not being selfish here, or this is not my ego, but we know what we're doing, right? We know what the process is. We've gone through it consistently, and like not just consistently, but at a high frequency as well. And so because we're doing it so much, it's like getting up in the morning and brushing your teeth. It's simple for us, but it's not simple if you don't know, because you haven't been researching it for 25 years, what's going on. So again, Tools of Titans. I would say we're definitely titans in the world of student athletics as it relates to applying that to college. And so we've partnered with other people too that do great stuff in that field. And so we have that already connected, that system that's already down. When you don't have the system, then you're kind of like, there's nothing wrong with being an artist, but you're recreating things every time. And the thing is, with a system, you are recreating the outcomes every time, but the system stays the same, right? Just the individual changes. Tribe of mentors. This is massive. If you don't have a tribe of mentors, you're gonna have a hard time really growing, being successful on a level that's at the highest level. So whether you like it or not, you have a tribe of mentors. The problem is, they're mentors that are taking you to where you are now. Meaning, if you look around in your circle of friends and nobody's really aspiring to do better, but you are, you probably either need to try and help them get excited about doing more stuff and learning more stuff, or you need to start like really pulling on YouTube and other places to create, even if they're not like a living tribe of mentors, a tribe of mentors that you can work with through that medium. The last one is actually about art. Art and learning. So the 4-Hour Chef, in that Tim talks about like how to acquire a skill acquisition, and the speed of it, and also the efficiency and effectiveness of it. So it's talking about how can I acquire skills and stuff like that, but also not just acquiring a skill, but also kind of practicing art. Meaning like a chef is an artist, but they also follow a system or a recipe. So you can, through a system, you can also enhance your artistry. So I think a lot of people think like, oh, it's almost like polar opposites, right? One's on one end of the scale, the other is on the other. But it doesn't have to be that way. And once you understand that a system or an organized, consistent thought pattern can actually be something that alleviates or actually frees you to be an artist. And once you understand that, things come clear. And then also flow follows that, because where there is some structure, there actually is, as long as you allow it, a greater opportunity for flow. Where in an open system, when there's a little bit more chaos, there needs to be some chaos for flow, but you need to kind of be organized in the way that you go about that. I mean, you don't need to be thinking about that necessarily, and that's the thing. With a system, you don't have to think. So that frees yourself up to be present in the moment, which I think a lot of people don't think about when they think about structure and systems. So anyways, those are the books, 4-Hour Workweek, 4-Hour Body, Tools of Titans, Tribe of Mentors, and then the 4-Hour Chef. And the point was, though, to bring you back to, in the morning, every morning, start your day where you want to start your day. You control your day when you get up in the morning. So like Robin Sharma talks about in his 5 a.m. club, pretty much anybody that you're going to look at that's in the field of personal development that's really crushing it, like Gary Vee talks about, they're getting up early. There are exceptions to the rule, and there's nothing wrong with that, but when the other people get up, they get up and they're still controlling whatever time they get up. So like if they're not getting up at 4 a.m., if for whatever reason their life allows them, or they feel like they're better at getting up at noon, they're getting up at noon, but that beginning of the day for them usually is still going to be the same thing as the person that got up at like, whatever. I think Wayne Dyer got up at like 3 something in the morning every morning, or you hear the hip hop preacher Eric Thomas talking about he gets up at 4 a.m. Maybe he says 3 a.m. sometimes, but he gets up, and when he gets up, he wants to get up and have that focused opportunity that getting up early allows you to have before you have to help the kids or answer emails or all these other things that distract you from being present with where you're at. And so anyways, that's the whole point to this little conversation. And hopefully you think about what you're doing, get more conscious of what you're doing on purpose, like Dan Millman talks about, and you get more clear on what you need to execute on a regular basis, get a pattern of doing that, get a habit of doing that, get a structure, a framework to allow you to do that, and take your mind off it. That is what the habits help you with. I think people get confused on this, and I just want to reiterate this one last time. The habits aren't there to imprison you. They're there to free you. Let me say that again. They're not there to create a prison for you, to cage you. They're there to actually like free you from your cage, because you don't have to think about it anymore. You're just going to do it. It's your routine. It's your ritual. Now you can free your mind to open up to the possibilities of everything else, because you're not stuck in making decisions on things. The decision's already made. The question is, what did you decide to focus on every day? That's where your habits go. And your habits really do create your habitat.